Ladies and gentlemen, in this video, I am reviewing the Tesla Model 3 Standard Range Plus after 1 year of ownership or 22,000 miles. There it is, as you see behind me. My name is Taylor. Welcome to the channel. If you are new here, be sure to check out some more of my videos and then consider subscribing. Join the family, join the fun. I'm gonna start with the good, then talk about the bad, and then give you guys overall tips as considering owners. If this crow does not shut up, man, I'm gonna pull out a 22. Overall, I've got a lot of good stuff to talk about with this car. I really love this car. Let's just get into it. Let's just get into the good stuff. First of all, let's talk about costs. And it is pretty easy to talk about costs with this car because there's pretty much none except for my charging costs at home. Every day I charge, or every other day I try to charge, and it racks up to be about $45 a month on average. Now this average really varies anywhere between $30 to $70 a month, just depends on how much I charge, but generally I use a little bit of battery, plug it in, and charge maybe around 40 to 20% every night or so. So overall, that is pretty much my only cost with the car. So it's been pretty dang awesome. Next thing I want to talk about is the overall look of this car. Now, when you get the car, in my opinion, of course, it's very plain. It is nice and futuristic, but it's still very plain. So as you can see behind me, the pro that I want to talk about here is the aftermarket community and how great it is. So I had a car that is awesome in my opinion, but looks slightly plain, and I decided to just do a little bit of things to make it look a little bit, to make it stand out a little bit more. The next thing I want to Somebody who drives a car like that was really lacking attention as a child and has some making up to do, and they want everybody to look at them. Another thing I wanted to talk about that I really love about this car is how much you get for what this car is worth, what it's valued at. This car cost me right around $42,000, and I really think you get a great amount of things. Now, you get a great amount of range. The range is 260 miles. I think that is awesome. Could be a little bit better for the price, but you get all this other stuff. So you get a great interior, you get great audio, you get Autopilot, which alone, man, that's just worth so much. And then you get all the features like the awesome screen that controls everything. So I think when you look at this on the broad spectrum of things, the price of around $40,000 is pretty high, but it's also extremely good for this car and what you get. If you want to get another EV that offers less things at less of a price, there's options out there, but I think talking about the price point and where this car is at is pretty dang good. Now, I do hope Tesla makes a car that is less than the standard range, aka that $25,000 Tesla, but I assume it would have a lot less features in this. Now, note this, everybody, because what I'm talking about for what you get for the price, I also have a bunch of crap to talk about on this. We'll get to that when I go to the cons. A couple of things I quickly want to mention that are awesome are the front heated seats, and you can also get rear heated seats if you unlock it for $300. Now, aside all that, you get front heated seats, and I think that's really nice because in most cars in this day and age, you either have to get some premium sport package like an Audi, or you have to get some kind of package on top of this to get at least heated seats. So I'm happy heated seats are in the base model right now of Tesla. It's amazing. And the Model 3, beautiful. Next thing I quickly want to brush on is the entertainment center. As an EV owner, you generally will start to charge more. Sometimes you'll be in the car when you do charge, aka at a supercharger, charging at some kind of charger, and you want to be a little bit entertained. I love the entertainment center. I think it's awesome. You have so many options, you guys. I love it. You have anywhere from games such as like smart people games. If you want to like boost your brain, you can play some chess. If you just want to dumb out and play a game, you can grab your controller or use your steering wheel and play beach buggy, or you can just screw all that and go watch some Netflix, Twitch, or YouTube. Having options, I think, is the main thing, and it's just amazing having that. One thing is, yeah, you could get it on your phone, you could get it on your iPad and just watch it there, but when you get it in the sound system of the car and on the screen where you can comfortably just sit back and not have to hold or worry about a phone, it comes in really handy and you really start to take advantage of it. The other thing that I just want to broadly cover because it's a large spectrum, but this car drives pretty dang great, pretty dang standard. Now, obviously you have that electric vehicle feel where there's no gear changing, no gas engine, no clunkiness. Everything is very smooth, like a very smooth acceleration, very smooth deceleration. You also have regen braking. This stuff is kind of basic and I don't really want to talk about that because every EV has it, but I love it. That's all I want to say. Okay, I talked a lot of good stuff and I really do love this car, but there are some things that are bad with this car and really piss me off. Let's get into it. There is a lot of things this car does not have that it should have at its price point, and they're pretty basic. Let me tell you, you don't get fog lights, you don't get footwell lights, you don't even get floor mats, and you don't get auto dimming side mirrors. I think some of those are pretty self-explanatory, but I really want to touch on the side mirrors. Now, in my other Model 3, my dual motor, it has auto dimming side mirrors, and for the price point, I really think this car should have it. And not having them in this car gives me a headache, quite literally. And having these bright lights in there and not having auto dimming headlights for the price of this car is just really obnoxious. Oh, there's a crow right there. Go on! I'm trying to film a video, please just hook me up, man. Just go on, go sit on some other light post. Next thing I want to talk about is the small maintenance you have to do, which is mostly going to be tires, is pretty expensive. If you want to rock with the stock Aero Wheel tires or any stock tires, whether it's the 19s or the 18s, that comes at a pretty price. My rear tires alone, so just two of these tires, cost me $624, you guys. Now the price of all four of these is the same price as my crazy performance tires, the Pilot Sport 4S's, on my dual motor. I think that's crazy that a cheap all-round, all-weather type of tire is the same price as a full blown out performance tire. The next thing I want to talk about is beloved Autopilot. Now, I love Autopilot to death, and I know you will too. Thank you for leaving, Crow. But it has some stupid moments. One of them is phantom braking. When you are cruising on the freeway, having a great time, maybe no one's around, maybe someone's around, maybe someone's behind you, your car will just slam on the brakes randomly. Now, how hard it slams it on depends on how the car is doing today, how it's feeling. But generally when I get phantom braking, which is rare by the way, but when I get it, it slams on the brakes. And if there's someone behind me, yeah, I don't think it cares. And if that person's not paying attention, I may get rear-ended. Now, I've quickly learned to adapt to this, and I now know to keep my foot on the brake and pay attention. And when I get a phantom brake, I quickly just tap the brake and it disengages Autopilot, and then I quickly hit the gas to get back up to speed so I don't get rear-ended. You can also counter this by just hitting the accelerator while on Autopilot, and it will counteract any brake hit that the Autopilot automatically does. Drives me crazy. I think Tesla really needs to fix that. I don't know what that's from. It doesn't matter what conditions are in the area, it will just randomly do it, in my opinion. Who knows, there might be some reason, but man, I have been in perfect situations, perfect lane lines, no one in front of me, no one around me, and it slams the brakes. Next thing I want to talk about regarding Autopilot being stupid sometimes, it lags to get up to speed. Let me put this in a real world example, it'll explain it best. I'm on Autopilot going 60 miles per hour. My Autopilot is set to 75. So if somebody in front of me is going slow, they're going 60 miles per hour. When they move out of the lane, I now have an open field of, let's just say, a mile of stretch where no one is in front of me. You'd expect the car to speed up to 75 because I have my Autopilot set to 75, right? Not always, not most of the time for this car in this situation. It actually will just either do two things. It will sit there and just cruise at 60 and slowly make its way up to 75, or it will do nothing, like the car didn't even leave. The second I tap the gas and wake it up, it goes, whoa, hey, I'm actually going too slow, and it wakes up and it gets up to speed. So I think the easiest way to sum this up is I really wish it would go up to speed like normal. And yes, normal means it goes up to speed pretty quickly. Usually when a car really just leaves, it will just go right up to speed and go gracefully up to, and sometimes briskly up to 75 miles per hour. So when it does sit there and lag and act all dumb, I really don't like it. It really gets annoying. It really frustrates me when using Autopilot, which is a graceful and stress-free feature usually. The next thing I have in this car that I don't have in my other Model 3 that's a problem is I have Bluetooth connection issues. This is both when getting in the car, so I'm sitting at the door handle trying to get in because Bluetooth's not connecting, and when I get in and try and turn on some music, either the phone just stays as disconnected even though it's a priority device, it's already in the car, or it will just have a loading screen when I'm trying to play music. I'm going to show that to you now. It's just spinning. So that covers that one, but let's talk about the no entry. First of all, it always happens when I'm mad, and it always happens when I'm mad, or it happens when it's raining. And what this basically is I will have my phone in my pocket, or in my hand, or right up to the car for that matters, and I will literally just try and open the door, and it doesn't open. Sometimes I'll reset my Bluetooth and that may do the trick, or sometimes I'll sit there for a minute and just keep holding the door handle and keep hoping it opens, and boom, it just opens. So that's a big issue I really don't like. It really frustrates me. It always happens when I'm mad. The next thing, this is actually a really big one for me, and it happens in both of my Model 3s, surprisingly, but I want to note it because it happens in this one too, and it's a 2020. So the AC smells like crap after a little while. This has to do with your area, it has to do with humidity, and it has to do with weather. I'm in California, which is pretty dang like graceful weather, if you ask me, and my AC still ends up smelling like literally crap, literally like wet socks after a year of ownership. It's kicking in. I had it in my other car. It's a design flaw in the Model 3. And it has to do with where something is located, how the ducts are, and it collects mildew or something like that, and it collects moisture, and that moisture starts to smell, and the second you turn on that AC, you're blowing that stinky moisture into your face. How you fix that is you literally have to get a new AC filter, and you have to get your air ducts cleared out with a spray. You can do this on your own for super cheap. I did this through Tesla service for $120. So I really don't think I should have to do this either way. Some people counter me and say that this happens in other cars. However, the gas car that I had for years and years, I never changed an AC filter once. I didn't have to do anything, and that AC seemed to smell pretty good the whole time. Only getting in the Model 3 did I start to have this issue. The next thing I want to talk about is actually something that I like, but I want to mention it, and I want to mention it under a con because it has to do with driving. And when you are driving, the suspension is stiff. Mostly when you're going under about 40 to 60 miles per hour, anything under that, the suspension gets stiff and you can start to feel a lot of bumps. You start to jump, mostly the people in the back, it gets a little bit more jumpy. But as you go past 40 or 60 miles per hour, it starts to feel pretty good. And that stiff suspension is actually kind of nice because the car is heavy with a huge battery. So I don't know, stuff starts to feel much better. Nonetheless, it's still stiff at lower speeds, and I really want to mention that, so there you go. Okay, we're done, but I want to now give considering owners some tips when making a purchase or considering to purchase this car. Number one is do your research before purchasing. Thank God you're watching this video because you're already doing some great intensive research. The next research I want you to do though is to set up a test drive for one of these cars. Try and test drive the exact one that you want to get, like a standard range or a dual motor. And I really think you should test this out because I can only mention and give my opinion so much in a video, and I would now want you to put that in action and go, Taylor said the suspension is stiff. Is it really stiff in my opinion, or do you like it as Taylor likes it? And then give it a test drive and feel it. Same with the audio. I think the audio sounds great. There's a notable difference between the premium audio and the standard ranges audio. But overall, I think it sounds good. It sounds a little bit up in front of the car more rather than like surround in your ears or in your head. So just note that. But once again, if you do your research and get a test drive, you will be able to hear the difference yourself. Here's the biggest one, in my opinion. It saved me thousands of dollars, quite literally. check your incentives everywhere. And what I mean by everywhere is check your incentives for your utility company, your city, your state, your country, because all of those things for me gave me money or gave me some kind of credit. And I'll give you one type of incentive that I got. The state of California gave me a check for $2,500 for being a new EV owner. No credit, no deduction on your taxes, literally a check for $2,500. Just that alone is a huge amount off the car. And the final tip I want to give you guys is to be sure to use someone's referral code. You and the person you used their code gets 1,000 free supercharging miles. This is pretty important, mostly for you, because you will have 1,000 free supercharging miles before you even get the car. So I think that's awesome, mostly if you're trying to figure out a charging situation at home, or it hasn't been installed yet, or you want to rip the car the first day and enjoy it. Maybe you need to charge, and you will have free supercharging for 1,000 miles. Now, my referral code is in the description below. You definitely don't have to use mine. In fact, I just want you to use somebody's referral code. That's how important I think it is. I will tell you, the free supercharging that I have from referrals and from using somebody's referral code is an absolute blessing, and I'd highly recommend it. That's why I'm making such a big point in this video. Well, you guys, those are my things about the Tesla Model 3 after a year. These are the things I've learned, things that I've dealt with, and things that I thought were worth telling you. Overall, you guys, I would highly recommend this car. I'd rate it a solid 8 out of 10. I think for the price and what you get and the range that you get, this car is pretty dang amazing. I've done some incredible drives with this thing on one charge, and man, it gets you pretty far. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good one.